excuse me. I'm very excited to finally get you guys in here. I know when we started doing this podcast, we really wanted to have at least an episode where we featured us, our guys, our people. So Alex Bird, our almost monthly salesman of the month, seems like all the time, and Eric Navarro, new car manager, been a leader on the team for it's a long time now.
8 years.
8 years. God dang, that can't be
Goes
right.
by
That
fast.
means
Goes by fast.
that means I've been there a little while.
20
So,
plus.
and obviously, I think we all see you brought the belt
Oh, yeah.
through my request. Brought the belt. Kind of a fun way to appreciate your salespeople, huh?
Yeah. No, it's actually, it was a great idea. Once we saw it as sales managers and we started putting it together, it was pretty exciting, to do something different. We're always doing the plaques and stuff, which is pretty old school. It's historically been that's how you highlight, your salespeople of the month, salesperson of the month, or any, anybody that's doing a great job at the store. That's, you give them a plaque and, here you go. This way, I think it's just, it highlights the event a little bit more, and it just makes it fun.
It's just a little more fun, right?
Now you're actually kind of fighting for a belt, in a way. So
I don't remember where I was sitting, but when you made that Rocky video, I laughed my ass off. I was like,
that's pretty cool.
That's good internet right there.
And it was cool. It was fast, too. It wasn't even like a big production.
No,
it was
just
a
quick and easy. Just
Send kids into TikTok, right?
You got Ultimate Warrior next time.
Yeah.
You got the,
That's why I said I got to talk Miles to do like a through the table,
Yeah, right.
Without getting sued.
Yeah.
I'm sure Aflac will appreciate that. But so, Bird, you've been doing the car business for a long time.
Right.
But you've been with us for a long time too. And we joke a little bit. How many times have you not won Salesman of the Month?
I don't know.
Just a handful, right?
Just a couple times, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you win Salesman of the Month. I know it sounds like a dumb question, but everybody wants to win it.
Oh, for sure.
But
sure.
There's a lot of things that go into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into it. You got to take in consideration it's not just me that wins the belt. It's the team that wins the belt, because obviously without Eric or Adam or any of the working functions that allows me to be the best I could be, it's not all my effort. Obviously it takes these guys to help me, to help them, to help the customer, and it takes the repeat and the referral back.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Oh, it's so many moving parts. And not only that, you got to deal with service, you've got to deal with your B2C department, you got to deal with the management, and most of all, most important is the customer. Yeah. Because if you don't have the customer, you don't have anything.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And you got to treat them like you'd want to be treated. The other thing that I want to put in is that you have to make it an experience. You can't just come there and just buy a car. They can go and buy a car anywhere. Anybody can go buy a car anywhere, especially when they got good credit, the whole 9 yards stuff. They can go buy a car anywhere. But when you make it personal, these guys are spending thousands upon thousands of dollars with you. You have to have that trust, and you have to have that relationship, and it has to be an experience. It can't just be, okay, sign the dotted line, yeah, whatever.
So what's something you try to do to make it personal? Like what? We don't want to give any secrets. We don't want anybody stealing your customers. But what's the Bird experience like?
There's no hidden factor. There's no mystery. It's just treating people like you want to be treated.
Yeah,
it's just taking care of people.
From an outside perspective, from looking at Bird working every single day, he says that it's very important, and it is, and he doesn't take enough credit for what he does, with the customers, but. You can have a customer come into the lot with a very, very much super high guard, and they end up getting paired up with Bird, and then by the end of the day they're just hugging and and kissing,
absolutely,
and high fiving and stuff, and you know what I mean. And he just takes care of people. At the end of the day, he makes them feel at ease. He takes care of their needs. He breaks down that that barrier between a customer and a sales consultant. And the way he does it is just literally by being him. He's genuinely a
That's
good
good. You can't
guy.
teach anybody to be you.
Yeah,
you know what?
It's just he genuinely cares for the customer he's got in front of him, whether it's to take care of him as far as finding them the best car or the best deal, or if they're a customer that's really, really in a bind, like his job is to take care and fix that problem for them. So I think that's what they feel from him that he probably doesn't see, but we see it on the other side when we are dealing with Bert and the customer. So
absolutely.
I think that's what separates Bert from a lot of other sales consultants.
So we're gonna let a little internet magic out of the bag. Our Salesman of the Month award comes out for the previous month. This will come out a little delayed also, but we have had some huge months the last couple months. So we're jumping back a little ways by the time this goes out. A 200 car month. I don't know how many Bird had of that 200. Do you recall?
Like 23, 22.
Yeah, 23.
Well, I mean,
23.
Just 23.
You talk about a team effort. 200 cars is no joke, especially in this town. Like, Bullhead's not that big a town. Tell me a little bit about the team, the effort, like what it really took. And I don't know what anybody else sells in town. It's really not important to us. For us, that's a great month.
Here's where I come out. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that 200 car out of that team, you got to remember, there's 3 or 4 other dealerships just in this town alone. Not only there's Kingman, there's Havasu, but it takes a lot of moving parts, a lot of effort throughout what we have going on to take every single, I mean, we have deals that come in from Vegas. They see our deals. They know that we have the best deals in town, and they work hard at doing that. Not only that, we treat people with the respect and treat them like they should be treated, like you want to treat your family member, so that they do come back and they do bring their friends and they do bring their family in here to do it.
Yeah, no, we compete against some heavy hitters for sure in town. You know,
100%.
we got a Toyota store, which Toyota is, you know, historically sell a lot of cars, and they're right in our backyard. So we're competing against them, and we got to make sure that we're you know, topping them off, you know, every single month if possible. So 200 plus cars for us, and at any given point, at any given month, it's a great month. Yeah. So we got to give hats off to every single piece of the team, you know, including service, including parts, including sales consultants.
It's a team effort.
Sales managers. And I think there's no secret to the sauce. It's just we set a goal. I think we all share the same vision. We're all trying to row in the right direction.
That's
and once something just kind of clicks, you know, together within the team, we just take it and, you know, and grab it and run with it.
So during that month, we experienced a couple things that we don't normally experience. One being, we were almost running out of cars at one point.
Yes.
100%.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, it felt like we were just freaking out because we got all that inventory in, and we were almost running out of cars.
Yeah, we were at a, you know, I think close to an all-time low in used cars, you know, and new cars were just right behind it. So there's a lot of things that customers don't see, you know, like the behind the scenes of things that we're trying to fix to continue to feed the machine, whether it's selling a car or, you know, anything else that goes on selling a car, you know. There's a lot of people taking vacation and stuff like that, which it also accounts for people not being there, but we continue to work, you know, and that Bert mentioned it is, we have a great culture, and I think part of that, you know, being able to sell 200 cars is just the culture. And like I said, we have 20 plus sales consultants and BDC agents, and we all got to be in the same page. And putting everybody at the, you know, in the same page and the, you know, rowing in the same direction.
The one thing I want to say is that, like, not only that, we spend most of our time when we're awake at the dealership. I mean, we put in 12 hours a day, and not only that, we have to work with each other. So we pretty much have a family within a family. So the camaraderie and the civilness and the way that we go about things inside the team, that we got to pull and help this guy. We got to cheer this guy on as soon as he reaches his goal, or let's get him to the next level. Everybody pulls together and helps each person do that. So it's very important that we keep that. And then not only that, when we're doing that and everybody's acting that way, the customer feels it. Whether it's consciously or subconsciously, the customer gets that vibe. And it's all a vibe. 100%.
Yeah, it is very real. You can tell when you have a good, you walk to a place, you just feel it sometimes. But I'm glad you brought that up, because I always wondered, you've trained a lot of our young up-and-coming guys.
Right.
Do you enjoy it, or is every time Eric walks over with some fresh-faced kid, you're like, oh, come on, Eric, not again?
No, I enjoy it because anytime that I can give somebody something, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, sayings and whatnot. When you teach these guys, they could take this and put this in their personal life. They could use the way that I train with these people. Because no matter what you're doing, you're always selling somebody. Whether you're selling the manager, whether you're selling the customer, whether you're selling your wife or you're selling your friend, it's always selling. You're always selling 24/7. ABC.
So I don't think a lot of people know about the selling your manager part.
Hey.
So we're gonna have a little industry secret here. Eric's gonna know, because he already knows.
I used to be a sales consultant too, so I had to learn that early in my career.
You gotta sell the deal or the idea to the sales manager sometimes, to make the deal. Like, people don't realize that salesperson really does work for you.
Yeah, no,
100%.
car lingo, we call it, you got to sell the desk. Car lingo,
Yeah.
we got to sell the desk, and the desk means the sales managers that are working the car deal or are, in charge of some way, somehow taking care of that particular deal, the sales consultant selling. So these guys not only are having to work with the customer and find solutions and find them the best vehicle possible and figure out how to fit it within budgets, but they also got to work the sales desk to make sure that this deal that
makes
absolutely zero sense for the dealership to make, whether it's losing money or, the car, we shouldn't be selling it that cheap and so on and so forth. We got to sell it, because of whatever scenario they're having to sell the desk. So,
100%.
That's a gift for sure for some sales consultants to have. And I teach it myself to them, like, you got to sell us. You got to get us excited to
About
sell
the
this
deal.
particular car to this particular customer this particular way, even though it doesn't make sense to
Right.
do it,
Yeah, a lot of people get frustrated in the process, and they don't understand why things happen the way they do. But what a sales manager, a sales desk really is the hub of the entire sales world at a dealership.
100%.
And it's dealing with everything coming in and out that's sales related.
It's dealing with finance. It's dealing with banks.
And so
it's
having a
dealing
good
with,
salesperson who can relay that, handle that, get that into the next phase of the buying process is very important.
Yeah.
So
It's all perception too. You got to think.
and then we all know about selling the wife, because whenever you want to do something fun, you gotta.
Yeah. Happy wife, happy life.
Everybody got to be
Yeah.
happy. Everybody got to be
Hey,
happy.
wouldn't it be nice if we went on a vacation? Like, I'm sure that one's probably easy to sell, but yeah, I think we all know what we mean there. But I'm glad to hear that you enjoy it, because I think training new salespeople is hard. I think that we all know that at some level you're kind of born with a lot of it, but you need to learn the skills, the process, and then a lot of the little things that we learned over the years the hard way.
Right.
If we can speed up that learning process for people, it helps them out quite a bit in their
100%
career.
in life in general. And, out of there's probably like 6 or 7 hires that I've got people where, hey, I think this guy's a good guy. And then training them and nurturing them and growing them. It's kind of like your kids, because number one, you take pride in teaching them
Eric
the right
says
way.
it's like their kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take
It's
pride in
home
that.
away from home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing that Bert's really good at is just, being able, once I put a new hire with Bert, I know that out of that, Bert's going to be able to tell, based on his experience and dealing with that particular sales consultant or person every day, all day, he's able to dig out whether that sales consultant is going to be good, not good enough, or needs a lot more attention than just any other more natural or naturally talented person. You know what I mean? So there's times, the car business is not for everyone, unfortunately.
100%.
Sales is not for everyone.
Sales is
Right,
not
yeah.
for everyone. It's a very unique, position that we hold, and you got to be able to deal with a lot of stress, a lot of rejection and stuff like that, and just some people just can't. So Bert helps me out a lot with that, training them not only through the process of the car deal and being able to, like I said, deal with the customer that sometimes has a really high guard, but also being able to make them understand how the car industry works and how difficult it can get at times, but also how rewarding it can be. So he's really good about, doing that. And, a lot of people see Bert and, he's a big guy, looks pretty abrasive. I mean, he looks like he's going to beat someone up, 90% of the time, right? But at the end of the day, he's just a huge, big teddy bear, you know what I mean? And, he's got a lot of love, and he really puts a lot of effort.
No one says that about me, Bird. What's up with that? Those guys are a real jerk.
Yeah, he puts a lot of effort in trying to get these guys and gals, molded up into the car, the car people that we need them to be.
So obviously we got a good group. Proof's in the pudding, right? What we're doing, things like that. A lot of wild stuff going on in the car business right now. And not even in the car business necessarily, like things outside the car business affecting the car business.
100%.
And we really haven't, that little fly is aggressive. We're going to edit that out there. Yeah. Somebody can eat it and get it out of here. That'd be great.
Michael Pence.
Yeah. But if, we managed to navigate it, and our prices haven't yet been affected. We've actually dropped our prices on a bunch of things, including most of our used inventory, and we still stay super aggressive on our incentives and pricing on our new cars.
Well, it doesn't make sense. I think most of us, we're all consumers, right? We're all buying something at all points of our lives, and we feel like those things that are happening, the tariffs that are happening, across the nation, we shouldn't pass that on to the customer. So we are going to try to do as best as we can to continue to keep our aggressive pricing that we do on our websites, and just be able to, I guess, in a way, gift that to the customer where they don't have to worry about having to pay that extra price for cars. You haven't seen a lot of those increases yet. We do have a lot of inventory on the ground that is not affected, which we're still going to continue to just sell as aggressive as we can as far as pricing goes. Not because there's tariffs out there, we're going to just adjust the pricing. So that's still being given out to the customers as far as a benefit, and we hope that we don't necessarily get into that place where the manufacturer or the nation puts us in a place where we have to raise our prices, because we don't want to.
There's obviously, me, I'm always deep in the world BS. I love it.
You don't like,
but the prices jumped up like 4 years ago, way more than they would even be projected to jump up now.
100%.
And we've managed to find out how to be the most aggressive in each segment that we can be. Yeah. Like, we try to be price competitive, and like, we've done this before. Like, this is not new.
There's a ton of research that goes into how we price our vehicles and how we go about it. A lot of times, COVID is obviously something that's, in the past and whatnot. But as far as like what's going on now, we're super competitive. I think we have number 2 or number 1 in our area, even in our demographic. And we are not a suburban area. We're not a high traffic area. We're not Vegas.
We're not a major
Phoenix.
metro.
We're not a major metro. Yep. And we're still got really good prices out there.
So I'll tell you, I actually just checked pricing. Eric and I kind of do the new car pricing. I basically snoop around and I tell Eric, this don't look right, this looks right, whatever. We come to consensus on things. And I actually looked, we're priced very aggressively compared to almost everyone around us. And so much so that I was like, maybe we need to raise some prices. And I was like, that sounds crazy.
Yeah. I had a customer that came in and bought an 184X from me. Super, very limited production, very nice unit. And we, even being here in Bullhead City, was like $7,000. He said he couldn't find anything $7,000 cheaper anywhere near ours price. And he came all the way out from Sedona and bought.
So we actually get a lot of leads from all over the country. And what's really hilarious is, there's 2 types of people for sure. And we reap the benefit of it, but some of them will drive 3 days to go save $500.
Not only that, we'll have people fly in, we'll pick them up in Vegas, drive them down to the dealership, pick up their vehicle, sign up, and then drive back to New Mexico or Colorado. I mean, we've had people drive across the country, you know what I mean? Well, so we do a lot of crazy things, and I think that's what a lot of people don't see, especially local people. Don't see what the way we go out of our way to try to put some car deals together.
100%.
And we're not only doing that for people outside of our immediate area. We do it for local. We do more for our local customers than we do for anybody out of state. But we'll fly people in. They'll land in Vegas. We'll send a driver, pick them up. We'll make it super easy.
Sometimes we send a salesperson. They're not pumped on
it.
Hey,
whatever works. Hey, at this point,
they're
whatever
not pumped
works.
on it. But sometimes
to touch on those leads that do come out, from all parts of the country. I mean, we'll have leads from Florida, from New York, sometimes, Michigan, Colorado, New Mexico, and we're selling cars all the time outside of here. You know what I mean? And that's what gets us to the 200.
That's what it takes.
That's what it takes. Yeah. Those deals are really tough. They're really, you got to articulate a lot of things. So there's a lot of work that goes into those. And like I said, there's a lot of things that are not seen out there, but that's what gets us to that point. So
you had mentioned something, and we talked a little bit about the pricing and being competitive. And I actually just saw on the call the other day that they came out with a really interesting first-time buyer program. Now, we haven't seen a first-time buyer program specifically from the manufacturer in a long time. I don't know if you're aware of this, Bird.
I haven't seen it for a long time.
It came out on a Trax, which is a great priced car, nice little small SUV that kind of fits what people are looking for these days. And it seemed like a pretty good program.
Well, let's touch on the Trax first. The Trax was redesigned 2 years ago or so. And they came out with this brand new, Chevy Trax, which is a really nice little SUV. And it's not really little. I mean, it's a really nice size SUV.
Isn't it the third, the Envision, the Buick Envision was the same body style as this car. I mean, you put them side by side, it's basically the Buick Envision.
Yeah, I'm not sure what platform it shares,
it's 3
but
steps
it's a good looking car.
Yeah. Very good looking. You know, the gas mileage on the vehicle is super, super nice. So I think, you know, it's very inexpensive. You know, it's
not the right word to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
very inexpensive.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Sales
Wrong
fail.
word.
Hey, you know, I learned that very inexpensive word out of the restaurant industry. You know, that's where I started selling. But
That's where you sold me that $80 steak.
Right.
It's very inexpensive.
but anyways, yeah, it's a very inexpensive, you know, SUV that helps a lot of. It's really designed and intended for like college students, first-time buyers. You know,
Starts in the low 20s.
folks that are you know, maybe a little bit of that budget, you know, friendly car. It starts in the low 20s. It could get up all the way to about 26, 27,000. But even the most loaded one, which is the Active, you're ending up around $26,000 on a brand new car. I mean, it's an SUV, so it's a really good price point vehicle. And yes, the manufacturer just came out with the first time buyer program, which I don't know how much we can disclose, but you know, for folks that are, you know, struggling with credit, you know what I mean, with the lower score on the credit, you know, they do qualify for that as a first time buyer. People with no scores, basically no credit, also might qualify for it.
There's a huge deal.
There's a couple of little details that are needed in order to qualify, but they're very simple.
The number one thing seemed like you need to budget for the car. So obviously, if you can't afford the car, nobody wants to lend it to you. That just doesn't make sense. But I was amazed at how reasonable it was. It wasn't like you don't have to be a perfect credit score. You don't have to be half down, nothing like that. It was a very realistic program on the right car. Like if they would have come out with a first time buyer program on a $70,000 Yukon or something, you'd have been like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, no, it's a super easy program to qualify for. And like you said, you know, it's not like it's out of the world or you got to make a ton of money. As long as you're making you know, your normal average amount of, you know, income and your score is, you know, like I said, it's intended for lower score folks and you know, younger buyers or no score. So I think it's going to be a really good push for us, you know, especially this month that they just came out with it. I hope they continue to, you know, have it for the next, you know, coming up months.
Hopefully it goes well. And, you know, everything right now seems to be like trying to find an affordable way to do the thing you want. And if this is a program that helps people get into a good, reliable car to start,
gives them a shot
instead of having to jump into something that's not,
or finding a cosigner.
Like it's a really good opportunity, and I hope it works out, and I hope that you know, some people take advantage because, you know, you get into a brand new car.
We have 15 of them. We have 15 Traxxas currently on the ground, plus a plethora of them coming in. So we have the inventory to sell it, and we just need the people.
The first time I consensed and it said to order like 35 or something, I was like, that's insane. And then I did the math, and it was like, nah, man, we sold.
They move. They move.
Almost
we
10
get
a
them,
month.
they go.
Yeah.
If we get them, they go.
When they first came out, we couldn't keep them on the lot. You know what I mean? And I think the manufacturer realized that, and they started to build a lot more of them. And it just helped. You know what I mean? So now we do have the inventory on the ground to be able to, you know, like assist with some of this first-time buyer programs, or like I said, folks that are in a bit of a budget that need a car. Brand new car. I mean, who wouldn't want to drive a brand new car?
Right.
It's got all the manufacturer warranties. You have absolutely zero to worry about. What we call it is you got to gas and go, right? You jump in your car, you gas it up, and then you're ready to go because you have to worry about absolutely nothing. So
absolutely,
great program for sure. So I'm excited about it. I'm sure the sales consultants are excited about it as well, and hopefully we can put some cardios together with them.
The other side of our business is the complete opposite. We have some of the, I don't even know what to say, like the most ridiculously cool cars.
Yeah.
They just came out with a Yukon AT4 Ultimate.
Yeah.
The diesels are unbelievable. A Corvette. We got a Z06 coming in.
We got a Blazer
it's kind of a
EV
wild
SS.
deal. Yeah, an SS Blazer
An all-wheel
EV.
drive Corvette coming in.
Like it's got to be one of the only manufacturers where you're like, hey, I got this $22,000 first-time buyer car,
Here's this
or a $100,000 loaded up off-road vehicle, or a damn near supercar.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
you got to see the most diverse range of customers.
100%.
We do. You know, we see sometimes you'll have a showroom full of everything. You know, you'll have people that are in a way kind of struggling to get in a vehicle. You have people that have all the cash in the world to buy whatever they want. So it's very unique, like you said, and it's very cool to see it. And again, we treat every single customer the same, right? One's trying to buy it, with cash. The other one's trying to just be able to afford it. And, you know, we do everything we can to sell both customers and treat them exactly the same.
Yeah. You know, I occasionally catch reviews or see whatever. I do all the social media shenanigans, right? And every once in a while, I see other people's
Super
posts.
boring job, by the way.
It'll drive you insane. But I see some of the experiences other people have at other dealerships.
Yeah.
And it shocks me to hear some of the things that people go through. Do you ever catch that customer who had a bad experience and they come in,
100%.
they're like,
That's why their walls are
what
up.
is this?
I'll tell you, not only from customers' perspectives, but also from vendors. You know, obviously as a dealership, we have tons of vendors that walk in and out of our dealership on a daily basis. Bank reps that walk in and out of our dealership on a daily basis. We've had some new vendors come into our dealership, and I think probably 99% of every new vendor that walks into our dealership that hasn't been there before they leave, they ask us and they tell us, what are you guys doing
That's
here?
exactly what I get.
Really?
They always
What are you
ask
doing
that.
here that it just
So
feels so
different.
much different here than any other store that we walk in. Like, you guys are just like a huge, big family. Like, everybody just kind of gets along. Everybody talks to everybody.
It's
And
the
it's just
vibe.
the feel that the vendor or the new person that walks into that dealership
Yeah.
that has been in other dealerships.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
You know, they're like, it's
What do you
just,
tell 'em?
It feels different.
I said, it's just us. That's why.
Honestly, it's
That's how
just
we
us.
roll.
it's just us. Yeah.
It comes down to that. That's how we roll. That's what we
Yeah.
do. You know, it's the culture we've wanted to build from the gate. You know, at least since I started working there 8 years ago, 2017. So maybe if I do the math correctly, it's about 8 years? You know, somewhere
I
around
believe
there.
you.
Right?
Don't
Let's
ask me to
not
do
talk
math
about
on
that.
camera.
But,
I'll take my shoes off. I don't want to do that.
But yeah, so 8 years ago when I started at the store, you know, it's one of those things that started. Maybe it was coming from before, but that's kind of when they started to build, you know. And I think we've done a good job at building that culture, and it's stick to us. And every time we hire someone, we tell them about the culture. I don't care if you're a 30-car Johnny.
Yeah.
If you don't fit the culture, you don't fit, you know, what we're doing here. We don't
ain't
need
gonna
you.
work.
You know, we don't need you to spoil what we have, because what we have is what's making us, you know, successful and as successful as we are.
And not
But
only
yes,
that, it makes you happy. Because if you're in a place where you're working and you get along and you jive with everybody and everybody's helping each other, it makes you happy.
as
And
far
we
as the
spend-
customer goes, what do you hear from the customer?
all the time, they're like, dude, what is going on here? You guys are like, I don't know, and they hear all the laughter or the camaraderie, or like there's a kind of a rule of thumb, like you're 5 feet away from somebody, you say hi to them. You say, how are you doing? Can I get you something to drink? And it's just a matter of respect. That's all it is. It's just like if you were opening your house to your guests or to
in
somebody
other
come over.
dealerships, you know what I mean? And I've worked at one other dealership than this one. But what I've heard in other dealerships is if a sales consultant has a customer and you talk to that customer, you're fighting. You know what I mean? So you're not even allowed to talk to a customer that is not yours if they're with
If it's
another
not your
sales
customer,
consultant.
yeah.
So it's, you know, that's the difference. Here we don't care. We'll say hi to anyone. We're not going to be rude. We're people. You know,
people.
We're just doing people's things.
We
you know what I
think
mean?
we're
So-
all people. The AI is not here yet. So,
might have a little robot walking around the dealership buying cars, you know.
well,
But
listen, fellas, you guys are doing a great job. I know that it's hard to take time out in the middle of your day, especially on a Friday. I know that you need to make sure you maintain dominance on
All the
the
time.
sales floor. So,
before we go, you are the host of the show, but you also work here with us. You know what I mean? So what do you see? What do you think is making us as successful as we all have been? You know?
So from a technical side, I think it was a commitment to all being on the same page, which included investing in our parts of the dealership that a lot of other dealerships don't invest in, from training, BDC, promoting from within, being committed to a competitive pricing, even though we're not in a major metro, and then trusting that we're all going to make it work.
Yeah.
I think that's the what I would say magic formula. It's not a magic formula.
Yeah.
If any one of those things aren't incongruent, they're not congruent with the other, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Agreed.
It's like if you have a great football team, but the center don't snap the ball.
Yeah. You can't move.
You know, yeah, like nothing cool. Everybody else did their thing right, but it doesn't matter. And I feel like that's how we were. And there was a lot, you know, over 8 years, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of people coming and going. COVID, in COVID, we were bought in on it, but there was inventory issues, and other times we were bought in on it, but we didn't have the staff, we didn't have the right team, and so we have all those things working together. Having guys like Bird who have been here and been a solid solidifying or stabilizing force for the sales team. If we're short a guy, Bird can pick it up. If we have a new guy that needs training, Bird can pick it up. Having people like him, and he's not the only one, they make a huge difference.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Yep,
absolutely. So where do they find Alex Bird? If they want to reach out, Alex Bird, say, hey, I want to see the guy at the belt.
Just
where do I find him?
Look for the big, ugly teddy bear.
There you go.
Now tell him where you can find you, Bird.
I'm at the main lot, of course. I'm up there, I'm up there at the main lot, right there on the Parkway. Just 928-221-0844 is my number, but
you need to roll it into like a rap thing or something. Like Mike Jones,
Yeah, right, Mike Jones.
So Eric, what do you got on the horizon for this month coming up? Obviously, we talked a lot about going back. Obviously, new car program coming up, but
well, as far as this month's go, we're already kind of, like you said, as far as the pricing goes, is diving into the pricing first to make sure that we are competitive. Everybody's trying to grow, on a monthly basis. So if anybody's adjusting their prices, we're adjusting our prices, right? If we see some decrease in pricing where other people are getting super aggressive with pricing, we're going to do the same. So we're never going to be left in the dust, and we're never going to be outpriced. So that's one of the main things. Second thing is, acquiring more leads, reaching out to the public, especially, locally. We want to make sure that our local customers, our local public trust our dealership, that we're going to do a good job and we're going to do everything we can to help them and solve the problems as far as the vehicle, or if it's just meaning to upgrade them, that also. So we want to make sure that we can get that local business, here, and it's not just Bullhead, not just Fort Mojave. We want to get out to Kingman more. We want to get out to Havasu more.
And remember here, just if you have somebody that's looking for a new or used vehicle, bring them in, have them come see us. We'll bird dog you. It's rewarding. Number one, you can make a little extra, and you can actually, have a following yourself.
It's actually something that, I hate to go backwards. I found very interesting is that once someone trusts you, and they come and sit down and tell you what they're trying to accomplish, it's a lot easier for us to help them. But
100%.
obviously, understandably so, a lot of people come in with their walls up, and it actually makes it harder on both parties.
But if we don't know the problem, we don't know what you're trying to accomplish.
People will be amazed at how much we want to help them. It does us no good to fight with you.
Unfortunately, it's the bad salesman everywhere else.
And we understand that, right? So we understand that there's that, perception, that stigma about a sales consultant or even a dealership alone. So we understand that, and our goal is to again, do as much as we can to have them and believe that we're going to do the best we can to help them out. So sometimes we can't. Sometimes there's customers that absolutely won't allow us, and we understand. We're not going to win all of them, but at the end of the day, our goal is to help, and we're in the people's business. We're not in the car business. That's what we call it. We're trying to help people fix problems.
If you don't go home in a car, nobody wins.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I appreciate you so much, not only for coming on here and talking to me, but everything you guys do for the store and for all of your teammates. Like you said, none of it happens without the team, and you guys are a big part of that team. So
thank you for having us.
I appreciate you guys. Congratulations on another Salesman of the Month.
Appreciate it.
Wait till one of these young kids hit you with a steel chair to take it. Yep. All right, fellas. Take care.
Thank you.